And I'm not going to stop fighting for people to, escape, in my words. Like, you get your packages, but you don't know what we go through. Injuries, like sickness, stress, fired all the time. We're always on edge. We're always walking on eggshells. I want people to know that that's what the union's fighting for Amazon, to give you what you deserve. The money, the safety, the security.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup.
This is Ashley with Status Coup.
On the ground.
In Philadelphia.
Flint, Michigan. East Palestine, Ohio. Please support the leading independent news outlet on the ground.
Covering what the corporate media covers up. You guys are fighting against Amazon. It is a behemoth of a company, and that cannot be overstated. And the fact that you have been able to do anything to detract, to get anything from them, is, as you're saying, I mean, you should celebrate all of those small victories. And you guys are going to keep going. And on the one hand, like you guys have made a lot of progress. I mean, obviously, anything that has happened as far as organizing the union fight, all of that has been extremely public and is, a good indication of what could happen at other companies as well. Right. But there's still so much that's happening there.
So much, but we're like a sledgehammer. We're breaking the wall down, even if it's really weak. One in some people's eyes. People I've seen on Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, I've seen people doubt it. And I have friends who don't really support it, but I'm not gonna force them to participate. It's on them. I say we've made progress no matter what people think, because it's there. We did the strike back in December, which really hit Amazon hard, because when I went back to work, it was like, how do you say, it was an impact on work.
The strike in December, when you got back to work, you did feel like it had made an impact, that Amazon had to react in some way to it.
The strike really hit Amazon hard. Like, it was right at the end of peak. So there was like a lot of extra time, voluntary extra time, like overtime, for people to come in and like get rid of all the work, because there was like nobody there. And I felt it. I saw it, and I was like, y'all, I was texting the group chat, like, y'all, this is like ridiculous. There's like so much work, but not enough people, which is actually an occurrence every other week, especially after peak. But it does happen even outside of peak. They schedule too many people, and there's not enough work, or they do the opposite, And I just don't agree with sending me home on my offering non-paid time off on my shift when you schedule too many people. They see the numbers in the system that there's gonna be work or not, and they refuse to send people home with pay when they schedule those people.
Yeah. So they're, covering themselves, at a high cost to people who, have to go in, have to take that time to actually go into work, as you're saying earlier. And we were talking about, people commute in, their commutes might be long. People have to arrange for childcare, all that kind of stuff. And then to just send people home when that is entirely avoidable, that is not a good way to manage your workforce, for sure.
No, it's really not. The building is constantly too hot. Even in winter, sometimes I sweat. Just kind of ridiculous. If you think in winter, I'd be freezing my ass off, but I'm not. It's hot in there. They claim that they fixed the AC. They say a whole lot of things that I don't see ever. I actually came up with the idea of having cubbies near the stations so people could put their belongings in them, so they don't have to put them at the stations. They put the cubbies everywhere but the stations. Like, there's not that many cubbies, but they're there. People don't utilize them that much. People use them, just not as much as I thought they would have. There's a whole lot of safety things, like with the conveyor belts on one side. If it's overstuffed with boxes, they tell us to keep packing, and it'll bring us these blue bins to fill up, and then the blue bins fill up, and then people are packing at their stations and overfilling their stations with boxes, which is not safe at all. And I've complained several times. I've even had safety come up and like have them tell us to stop. The safety themselves are like, if the lines are full, you have to stop. I have taken on the attitude of where if the line is stopped and there's too many boxes and I can't do it, I'm not packing. I will note the time I stop packing, and then I wait until it's completely clear to continue. I'm not gonna like risk my safety anymore for a job that pays me not enough for the work that they want me to do.
I think that sounds perfectly reasonable, and I would hope that anyone listening to this completely agrees with that.
Some people might not. Some people are like, you chose that job. Actually, I didn't choose this job. It was COVID era. So like I applied and I got lucky, but also I didn't really choose this job. Somebody told me to apply for it.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. We all know the society that we live in. Everybody has to work. We all have to work a job, whether you want to or not. Nobody really has a choice, and none of us have chosen this system that we have kind of been thrust into. So, the idea that like, you chose the job, therefore you should just deal with bad conditions is not really.
The job I chose was not to suffer in the heat and be injured all the time. The job I chose was to work in a place that gives me money for the work that I do. If I'm going to be forced to train in some other department, I better be compensated. I'm not, but I should be. Everyone should be, not just me. I've already been fired from Amazon twice. I've appealed it and won twice.
Okay.
And the way they handle that process is even more ridiculous in my opinion.
I mean, can I ask, one, what that experience was like and what they fired you for, that you were clearly, I mean, it sounds like it was a wrongful termination since you were able to appeal and win.
They fired me for productivity. Once for pick, they said I was 5% below. It was like 6 write-ups in a year. The first time it was like my 6th one, and then it was productivity write-up. The second one was a little sus because I wasn't even at work the day that they claimed that I got the write-up, which was also a productivity write-up.
Okay.
I wasn't even here that day. Yeah, that's just a really weird, suspicious thing. Because I had just come back when I got the write-up. It had been like a week since apparently I got the write-up, or 2 weeks, something like that. But again, I wasn't there, so it doesn't really matter why they did it. The fact is that they did it. And they don't tell you that in the system, once you get a first written write-up, it stays in the system for a whole year to the day. Like if I were to get a write-up right now, it would last till today, the next year. It doesn't really expire, as they tell you.
Okay.
The other ones do. The other write-ups after that, like the 30 and the 90-day ones, they tend to expire. But if you're not careful, they will add up and they will fire you.
Wow. Yeah, I guess I would ask, I realize it's after 3. I don't want to keep you for too long away from your dogs, who clearly are looking for attention. I guess I would just ask if there's anything else that you want to share. Again, any other updates you want to share about what's going on at Amazon JFK 8, and anything else that you can or would want to share about the sewage leak yesterday, and just your general thoughts on the fact of that happening.
The fact of it happening is just that it shouldn't have happened in the first place. You schedule this once every couple of months full shift where everybody like doesn't come into work unless they want to, like to clean up the building. Why is the plumbing not included in that? That should be one of the main things that they are like prioritizing, along with other safety issues and cleaning the stations, because they're all dusty and dirty, by the way. You know how many times I've come off the AR floor with dirt on my black tights? You can see the dirt. completely like white dirt on my knees and the rest of my body.
Mm-hmm.
But it's disgusting. That's I want people to know that that's what the union's fighting for Amazon, to give you what you deserve. The money, the safety, the security, whatever it is that you value, we want that for you. And we're going to keep fighting for you even if you don't support us. Because I've had people tell me that I don't give a fuck about the union. And I'm like, okay, we're still going to fight for you. So, cool. Then some people are like, they warm up eventually. But other people are like, nah, I don't care about this place. You know, it's like I had people like flyers for events and they're like, nah, I'm not interested. All right, bye. Like, I'm not going to force it on you. You have to want to come to us. And we have power in numbers, and our numbers get bigger every day.
Yeah, and I think it's, important for people to remember that the reason that we have weekends, the reason that we have, a reasonable, theoretically anyway, have a reasonable amount of time off is because of unions. It is because of organizing. That is how we won those rights. So what you guys are doing is trying to expand the slate of rights that workers have. Again, it's extremely important. And, the idea, just to kind of like underscore what you're saying, the idea that, you don't care about a job, so you're just going to leave, right? It's the same kind of thing that people, you suggested that people say to you that, if you don't like that job, you chose it. So you should probably just find another one. That doesn't really help.
Hard it is. People think it's so easy, especially some older people don't understand that it's really hard right now to just go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
All these other places claim that they're hiring, but it's all fake applications to boost whatever stats they have. I have to train for certain jobs that shouldn't require training, like basic stuff. Well, basic training, but not like excessive training, like if I'm going to clean trash, that should probably be a higher pay than Amazon, because I'm probably going to be working with harmful stuff. I could get hurt. But they're not actually hiring for that. It's like I applied to so many different jobs when I got fired. Where I got hired, which was seasonal, was Victoria's Secret, which wasn't great, by the way. It was not great the short time I spent there. But like immediately after I got hired there, I got hired back at Amazon.
Okay.
So, but it wasn't easy getting that one either. And it was a seasonal position.
Yeah. I think people don't, and as you're saying, especially older people who are, no longer subject to the labor market conditions, don't realize how difficult it is. And again, like you said, it's not hard to just find another job. And that doesn't help us, right? That doesn't help workers. That doesn't help the working class to just every time you find a job, you just move to another one, because that doesn't improve the conditions. You're just moving to another job that likely has similar conditions, and it becomes another waiting game of how long can I be subject to this? How long can I withstand operating under these conditions before I break and I have to go find another job? Organizing is the only thing that actually improves conditions for us, and staying and organizing, that helps the working class.
I already have a plan to find another job. That doesn't mean I'm going to leave organizing. I will still probably be around for the most part, but I am so tired all the time. And I need something to change. I've been here 4 years. I cannot go past any further. If I have to stay, I will, but I've already started saving up to take a program that Amazon should be paying for, but they won't, because that's a whole different story. I've already started with that journey. They said no. And now I have to save up to register and then probably pay in installments for the program so that I can get a better job than Amazon. Because I'm not staying at Amazon my entire life. People have been there for years, and I'm like, how are you still here? How are you dealing with this? And I'm on the inside, I think they've given up. They're perfectly complacent with what they have.
Yeah.
But I'm not. And I'm not going to stop fighting for people to, escape, in my words. Like, it's not as great as people think. You get your packages, but you don't know what we go through. Injuries, like sickness, stress, fired all the time. We're always on edge. We're always walking on eggshells. It's not fair. No one should have to live or work like that. I have to stay there because it's the best paying job for me to help my mother, who's out there working every day, busting her ass. And I have to stress about getting a ride up. So that, it's like every week I'm like stressing out. Am I getting a ride up this week? Am I getting a ride up this week? Am I good this week? Like, I'm constantly checking my rate so that I make sure I'm not getting a write up so I can keep this job and help my mother until I get a new job. So I can still help my mother. But this job has stressed me out so much. Even my mom's had some point told me, like, find something else. Like, yesterday I was showing her all the pictures and videos from the sewage, and she was like, that's absolutely disgusting. Are they sending you home? I was like, no. And then they sent us home. I shouldn't have been in the building in the first place. No one should have been in the building in the first place. It's people need to stop saying, oh, if you don't like it, you chose this job, find another one. It's not that easy. And maybe if other people weren't greedy, we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Just, the union will continue fighting for people, and I will continue helping in that fight. And Amazon can fight back all it wants, but eventually we will get so big that they will have no other choice. And my opinion, they should just come to the table already, because they can afford giving us more money and, agreeing and like helping fix the problems in every single building. But, we're one of the highest earning buildings or something. I don't know all the stats. I just know that we make a lot of money in our building. So they have the money to pay us and treat us with the respect that we deserve, the money that we deserve.
Absolutely.
I'm tired of going in and my soul dying every time I walk into the doors. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Every time I walk in, I'm so happy when I'm like, before I walk onto the property, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm in, I'm like, oh my God, now I gotta stress about like keeping my rate up all the time. And it's not fair. I'm so stressed in the building, and when I leave, I'm like, I am so overwhelmed, I can't talk to anyone right now. There are days where I'm just like at my station, I'm just like, I gotta keep up. Or I'm just like so tired, I'm gonna like fall asleep at my station. And I have to take a nap either at my station during my break or immediately fall asleep when I get home. That's why I have 3 days off and I'm like so tired.
And that's such a terrible feeling. Such a terrible feeling. One, I mean, I've worked plenty of jobs where I know exactly what you're describing. Like, you walk through the doors and then your soul just like leaves your body until your shift is over. And then also those jobs tend to be the ones where you need the most recovery time too. So as soon as your shift is over, it's like you might have 2, maybe 3 days off, but you are so exhausted that it takes you that like full time to actually recover from, your time working. And by the time that's happened, you're on to your next, stretch of days working. And it's just, it's a really, really awful way to live.
The time off goes so quick, but it drags every week all the time, especially when there's no work coming into the building. There's work, and then there's like a giant gap in like work coming to my station, and I'm like, you expect me to keep up rate when there's nothing happening here? Like, even PAs and managers were like, we shouldn't have had this extra week of MET because there's nothing happening in the building.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair. Some managers are jerks and they don't care. Other managers, I'm cool with some of them. They're good people. PAs too. They care and they agree with us, the employees, not just like the union. Like, they agree with the fact that we shouldn't have had MET in the first place. Like an extra week of Prime was excessive. We didn't need it. And we were all stressing, thinking that we were going to get another one. Luckily, as far as I know, we didn't get another one.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't force extra time on us and then not treat us with what we deserve. You know, you want us to do this work, fine, but you gotta up my pay and my working conditions. Something has to change, and they have to change it, and they don't want to change it because they're getting all the money, and that's all they care about. Some people care about the employees. I've seen that. They try to help, but there's only so much they can do in any field. But luckily, if people do need help, we have the union. We have people who know what to do. I might not know what to do about certain something like accommodations. I don't know anything about that. So I would send them to Kat or Sultana or Connor. One of those people will figure out what this person needs. I am a steward. I'm an organizer. I just try to bring people in. I have brought people in.
Mm-hmm.
I inform people of what they need or should know. I send them to the right person. Sometimes they just need a little bit of information, and they're like, "Oh, really? That's cool. I'll come to the next meeting," and they show up at the meeting. It's a really cool thing to see, and it's just getting, like I said, it's getting bigger, and I'm super proud of it. And now I'm getting emotional because I've never been a part of something like this before. I've actually never had as many people in my life or friends as I do now. It's Sultana is one of my favorite people. Kat,
Mm-hmm.
They're two people I go to when I need help, or I'm I just need a friend.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a wonderful thing. And I think that's a thing that I was talking to someone at a protest about yesterday. Just the idea that all of these different kinds of activities, whether it's organizing at your job, whether it's organizing, outside of that in the grassroots, all of these things, it helps build community, and it helps people feel like they're not doing this alone. So again, organizing at your workplace, as you're saying, it's helped you to build community and have these connections that wouldn't have been there prior to. And again, people outside of, organizing at their job site, doing other kinds of organizing, they feel the same way. So I think that that's something that, we should talk about a little bit more. Just in general, people should talk about a little bit more, because it is an important part to all of this, and it is a benefit.
Such a big part. I'm gonna be the first to admit, we don't all get along, especially not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't get along. I'm not friends with everybody, and sometimes I'm friends with someone, and now we're not friends. But we're still a team, and we're still working together. That's the important part. Remembering the goal. People might think that just because somebody had beef with me, that I'm just going to be lashing out at them. That's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be civil. We all try to be civil, try to solve things like adults, professionally. Whether it's in the union or with Amazon, we tread with politeness and professionally. And that's sorry, he did some weird coughing thing where I thought he was gonna throw up, and I was like, no, don't throw up.
That is one of the worst noises that you can hear when you're busy doing something, and then you can hear from the other side of the room.
I forgot where I was going.
No, you're good.
Point is, unity is so good. Community is so good. Sometimes even the people who you don't get along with might actually be the ones to help you the best. Or guide you in the proper direction that you need to be going in, or help you get in that direction, or help you see some insight. I don't agree with a lot of things that some people say, or how they handle things. But I've made that perfectly clear, whether I was angry at the time or whether I said it out calmly. And I think we can all learn from each other. and I'm learning all the time. I'm a slow learner, but I'm getting there, and I don't have the confidence that some of my peers do. But it's really an amazing thing to see and like be a part of. It makes me like feel so happy when I'm around, you know.
I love to hear that, and clearly you should have the confidence of everyone around. I'm sure that everything that you're doing is more than on par with what everybody else is doing. I mean, everything that you said has been really wonderful. I guess I would say, you know, this is probably a good note to end on, just the idea of like community and, you know, the benefits of organizing at your workplace, and everything that you guys have done at Amazon has been obviously, like, this is the most important union fight that we have going on right now. And
it's gonna I always have hope no matter what the situation is, whether it's like in the political climate or at work or whatever. I try to stay positive, and everyone else should too, even if it's really hard. Like, you know, people will be like, oh my god, like it's not gonna work, and I'm like, it's gonna work, you know. And we have the support of each other to do that all the time. So for those who need the boost, just know that the door is always open if you need help, you know, with anything, or if you just want to talk, we got you.
I love that. And again, if we don't work to make things better, then we are just being complacent, and you don't get anything better if you don't try for it. So
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I try to make that argument, but it doesn't always go through. But that's okay. It's gonna end well at some point. The fight can be as long as possible, but eventually it will have to end. One side will win, and I believe the good side will win. People who are helping are the ones who win. So
I agree. I think the workers will win at some point. Hang tight with me. I'm going to end the recording. I'm just going to do like a little outro, but just hang on after I stop recording. So I'm just going to say for viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Yakisha. I'm also tired. This is, I will say, the third interview that I've done today, and my brain's shorting out a little bit.
You need to get some. You work hard too. Go take a nap. Point, everybody. See you now.
At some point, I appreciate it. So I'll do that one more time. So thank you everyone who has watched. Appreciate you joining us here, and thank you to Yakisha Lopez, a Amazon worker, for updating us on conditions at the Amazon warehouse and everything that was happening yesterday with the raw sewage leak on the first floor where Yakisha was working. You know, so again, thank you for joining us and keeping us updated on everything here, and I will see you all in the next video.